With Alan's banner coming to an end in about a week and Zhu Yuan on the horizon, you might wonder how good she is and if she will be worth your pulls and polychromes, especially if you are free to play. Or you don't care about her strength at all and just wanna pull her for, other reasons. So let's have a look at how her kit actually works, how free to play friendly she is and what to expect and look out for. Welcome! I am Rivenous, this is Zhu Yuan's pre-release analysis, and let's talk about Zhu Yuan. Before we dive deeper into her, well, that sounded wrong, let's get this straight out of the way. She is a featured banner character and Hoyo certainly wants you to pull for her, so she will be good. If that is all you wanted to know and just believe me whatsoever, you can stop watching now. If not, well, let's get started. Let's first have a quick look at how she works. This is a quick general overview of her kit to understand her better and not an in-depth guide, so keep that in mind. Zhu Yuan has two basic attack states, Assault and Suppression mode. You can switch between both modes by holding down your basic attack. While she is in Assault mode, the 5th hit of her basic attack generates her 1 shotgun shell, which is her own unique resource, and she also gains 3 shells whenever she casts her EX special, chain attack or ultimate. Her core skill also grants her 6 shotgun shells once upon entering the battle, regardless of which mode she is in. If in the suppression mode, she features a 4-hit basic attack string and all her basic attacks consume 1 shotgun shell to deal massive ether damage. Most of her consistent damage dealt comes from her basic 3 in said suppression mode, which has the highest scaling, and that is good because, again, her EX special, chain and ult only grants us 3 shells, with her core skill giving us 6 upon entry. This allows us to easily go for smaller combos such as EX special into 3 suppression mode basic attacks, or for a little bit of a longer combo such as chain attack into 3 suppression basics into ultimate into another 3 suppression basics. That honestly also already covers how to play her in a quite simplified way and the most important part of her kit, so what can we expect in regards to her longevity? Currently, we have exactly 1 ether unit, and said ether unit is Nicole, which is a support. This also means Zhu Yuan will have a very comfortable monopoly in regards to her role as a main DPS in ether teams when she releases, just as Alan has for the ice type right now. As the only DPS ether unit in the game, if you want to tackle the hardest content, namely Shiyu defense, and are not incredibly skilled at the game and know how to min-max your team's damage to nearly perfection, or have max refreshed every single day, you will probably require an ether team. So let's have a look at the current Shiyu defense. 5 out of the 7 nodes have ether weakness on at least one side, with the last node sharing their ice and ether weakness on both sides. With Alan covering one side, if you want your best shot at clearing all 7 nodes, Zhu Yuan is a pretty good pull for that reason alone. That obviously doesn't mean you cannot clear it if you don't have her, but it will make your time a whole lot easier. While you can brute force some of the earlier stages with, for example, a physical assault team or any other well-built team for that matter, the 7th Shiyu node right now at least is basically a paywall at the moment. And if you have neither max refreshed a lot and are able to brute force it with really well built and leveled agents, nor have both Alan and Zhu Yuan, getting all of the rewards from the current Shiyu defense cycle may be a little bit difficult. However, not getting all these rewards is also not the end of the world and you are not missing out on much. Spending 12,000 polychromes just to get 60 or 120 more from the current cycle is not really a good trade-off. That means, unless you care a lot about Zhu Yuan as a character, owning all the characters, or simply try to clear the hardest content as soon and as efficiently as possible, you are probably better off saving your resources, at least in this regard. That said, she is also still a DPS character and she will easily be power crept by the next best ether unit which comes around, at least if Hoyo wants to do that. They will also likely introduce ether-resistant enemies and ice for that matter as well in one of the next Shiyu defense cycles to make you pull for the next agents. Obviously, all of this is from a very high meta perspective in a single player game and completely disregards any personal preference whatsoever, so take that however you want. But what about her weapons? For this section, please keep in mind those are really early calculations of mine and are in no way representative of how Zhu Yuan's weapons actually will turn out when she is released. There is a good chance I will be off by a few percent. However, even if I am off by, let's say, 5% on every single calculation, her weapons seem still pretty free-to-play friendly. While her signature is still her best in slot, all these weapons shown here are still comparably good options, with Starlight Engine again ranking pretty high. However, as always, all my weapon calcs assume that you make close to full use of the weapon's respective effects, at least as long as that is realistic. For example, Starlight Engine assumes you do a dodge counter with her at least every 12 seconds to assume 100% uptime. That is indeed doable and also realistic, but if you do not play to the full potential and maybe even miss out on set buffs, especially while the enemy is stunned, it will drastically lose some value. Her signature weapon is not far ahead of Starlight Engine, but its effect is nearly unconditional, well, at least compared to some others, only requiring you to use your EX special once in a while and can also be triggered while an enemy is stunned. For her Mindscapes, her C1 looks better on the sheet as it will be in reality, at least for most players. It can be a damage increase as you now are less reliant on your EX specials and also your ultimate to grant you more shotgun shells. But since you will usually gain enough shotgun shells during the enemy stun window, the cinema mostly allows you to go for 6 additional suppression mode basics outside of said stun window, which you usually would not have enough shotgun shells for. And you would hence either play your other characters instead, or have to default to her normal basic attack strings. This does result in an overall DPS increase, but heavily depends on how you will play her. If you give her more field time outside of the stun window, her DPS will gain a large boost with her C1. For her C2, take especially this one with a big grain of salt, as I am honestly not sure how exactly the damage increase is implemented and I would need to test that. It can be 10% as shown here, or even up to 30 to 50% if it is considered a debuff on the enemy instead of a buff on herself. In any case, it is a good damage increase, but that's about it. Her C4 and C6 are yet another damage increase, with her C6 allowing her to focus way more on her EX special as before. While her Mindscape cinemas are all looking great, at least as far as my early calcs go, again, please take them with a grain of salt, please do not take this as a definitive and do not feel forced to spend money. Skill actually does a lot in this game. Regarding her teams, Zhu Yuan pairs well with Nicole and also Ambi, allowing her to have a pretty free-to-play friendly team. Her core skill allows her to be paired with any support, which is honestly really nice, as she really wants that 30% crit rate from her additional ability. This also means Rina is another, albeit more expensive option instead of Nicole, providing pen ratio to the team. And also the electric attribute for Ambi, and pairing Zhu Yuan with Collidor and Lucy is just another option, depending on the units you have, and at least Lucy you can obtain from the shop right now. We also still have the classic core of Lycon and Sokaku, but those units are likely to be occupied by Alan's team. So what's the verdict? Zhu Yuan looks like a solid free-to-play friendly unit with actually quite a few team options as of right now, thanks to her ability to be paired with any support unit, which allows her to hold her monopoly as an ether DPS for a while, at least until she gets power crept by the next best ether DPS unit released. That all being said, thank you so much for watching, leave a like and comment if you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe for more ZZZ content and join the Discord if you haven't done so yet. Peace.